Good morning, it's Friday, February 24th, and into week 7 of Wardrobe Salvation. Or perhaps I should start calling it Wardrobe Salvation, because faithful followers of this vlog, yes, I'm talking to both of you, may recall that the first 4 weeks of my Walking to Lose Weight program had all the earmarks of a successful story, with over 200 miles walked, almost 14 pounds lost, and not to mention 4 pair of pants returning to regular use. Well, the success story took an unexpected turn 2 weeks after that, weeks 5 and 6, and they were characterized by abject failure. The outside temperatures plummeted, the rain fell, and my motivation level fell right behind them. Basically, I didn't walk for 2 weeks in this relapse of laziness, and time I should have spent walking was displaced by hours on the couch, eating candy and watching TV. So last week I reported that I actually had gained about 4 pounds. So last few posts were real nail biters for the faithful followers of this vlog, and I mean, will Eric succumb to another week of slovenly behavior? Will he continue to shovel candy into his face like a quality control inspector at Hershey's? Will he sustain more sugar crashes than a month of Black Tuesdays in Hawaii? Will he be too embarrassed to even post next week? Well, eager to put an end to the suspense and unveil a happier chapter in this saga, I was determined to create a reality that would have us all sighing with relief. So, well, that reality didn't happen overnight, I'm afraid, but it did happen. On the evening after last Friday's post, I went to yoga with my wife. So, not a real workout, but, I did do something. But in fact, the last 20 minutes of yoga were basically spent napping. They had some highfalutin name for it, but basically it was napping. So it's difficult to quantify the workout value there. Then I frittered Saturday away, waiting for it to rain. I kept thinking that it was going to rain, and it never did. But I kept busying myself with other things to do, and before I knew it, the day was over, and I hadn't walked. So then Sunday, which is already a difficult day to shoehorn a walk into, was made even more complicated by the fact that we had my godchild with us. And actually we did go for a stroll that day, but a mile and a half with a 5-year-old doesn't exactly constitute a fitness event. Now, chasing her around my house, that may constitute a fitness event, but again, difficult to quantify. So then Monday morning, yes, the excuse train continues, had unforeseen consequences or complications, and but finally Monday evening I looked over both shoulders to make sure the time bandits weren't after me and about to throw a sack over my head again, and satisfied that they weren't, I made a run for it, or rather a walk for it, and thus Wardrobe Salvation was on its own way to salvation. So, oh, and boy, I tell you, it was difficult getting started again. After 2 weeks of basically not walking, my legs were like concrete. It felt like I had a Chris Craft tethered to my waist, and I was dragging it around the neighborhood. So, if I learned one thing in this experience is that I'm not going to go more than, say, 36 hours without getting a walk in. It was just too hard to, start again. It was like starting over, like I did in January. I mean, my legs were just not into it, and each day was, summoning the motivation back. So hopefully I won't slip into another multi-week relapse, and I'm going to really try to avoid that. But thankfully, we actually did have a really nice week around here where I live. The rain was minimal, or at least it didn't rain during my walk times. In fact, the weather got progressively nicer throughout the week, and last night I was able to actually walk in a t-shirt and shorts. It was like 70 degrees. So all in all, I managed to walk 40 miles this week, even with all the procrastinating. And that's actually about what I walked in week 3. Actually, I walked 38 miles because I only walked 4 miles this morning. But that's about what I walked in week 3 of this little program. And in that week, I lost 2.2 pounds. Now, dietarily, last week, I kind of shot my mouth off about something about eating salads all week this week. But that didn't happen. In fact, we got another influx of Valentine's Day candy, so naturally I had to get rid of it by eating it. And eat it I did. Fortunately, my eating isn't stellar yet. I mean, I'm not back to salads and granola, I'm at least back to normal. I mean, my usual, couple nutritious snacks today, throughout the day, and a very modest lunch and a reasonable dinner. So the serious junk wave is over, I think, for at least for a while. So enough history. Let's talk turkey. Last week I reported that I weighed 216.8 pounds. This morning the scale read 213.4, a difference of 3.4 pounds. So overall I lost 13 pounds over the 7 weeks. So I'm pretty happy about that. Luckily all that weight that I gained over the last couple of weeks didn't stick, and it came off fairly easily. So not quite back to where I was, but I'm getting there. The important thing is that I'm back into it, and hopefully I can keep the momentum going and keep the daily rhythm going, and perhaps well enough that I do as well or better as this week, or say week 4 when I managed to tally 72 miles and lost 3 pounds. The weather's looking like it'll be fairly cooperative for outdoor walking next week, and so hopefully that'll hold and keep me motivated. But if not, there's some pretty good stuff on Netflix that I can enjoy while I'm on the treadmill and take the sting out of that task. So 213.4 is where I am. I've walked 260 miles so far in week 7, and hopefully I'll have an even happier chapter to report next week. We'll see.